Welcome back. I hope you have reviewed our online virtual machine servicing tool presentation slide and also the demo. Now I'm going to go through System Center Configuration Manager products which allow you to do online patching to the virtual machines and also physical hosts. Without wasting any more times, let me go through what is System Center Configuration Manager. System Center Configuration Manager, in short form we call it as a SCCM. It is one of the Microsoft products which allow you to do comprehensive management for both Microsoft and third-party products. It also allows you to do software updates, software distributions, operating system deployments, desired configuration management, asset management, and lastly, it also allows you to do network access management. You can also use System Center Configuration Manager to do a hardware and software inventory. It is one of the product which is very comprehensive, which is available in the System Center products. In my presentation today, I'm not going to cover all the features of System Center Configuration Manager. I will only cover on how to do software updates for virtual machines and also physical hosts. Setting up update management fall into three general steps. First and foremost, you need to enable the client agent. Secondly, you need to configure the software update points. And lastly, you need to configure the updates for distributions. In order for you to deploy and use software updates in System Center Configuration Manager, one of the requirements that you need to take note is you need to install WSUS server and also WSUS administrator into a site server where your System Center Configuration Manager is installed. Once the System Center Configuration Manager takes over WSUS server for the SUP role, the WSUS server is dedicated to System Center Configuration Manager and can only be used by the System Center Configuration Manager clients. The SUP is the component responsible for downloading all available updates information on the schedule and for interacting directly with the System Center Configuration Manager clients to perform compliance scan based on its database of its updates. Without wasting any more time, let's look into the first settings that you need to configure. First, you need to enable the client agent. This is the screens that you're going to see. Okay, in order for you to allow you to do software updates, you need to enable the software updates on client machines. After that, you need to configure the scannings, which allow the agent to connect to System Center Configuration Manager to check for software update compliance. Once you have enabled the client agents, the second thing that you need to configure is the software update points. By running the configuration wizard for software update points, you need to configure some of the basic settings that you need to connect to in order to get the software updates. First and foremost, you need to configure the proxy configurations. If your environments have a proxy firewall proxies or proxy servers, you need to configure the proxy configurations in order for the System Center Configuration Manager to connect to the internet to get an updates. After that, you need to specify the ports and SSL informations. What are the ports that which requires? The configuration of the port and SSL is depend on your WSUS configurations. If you install the WSUS as the default settings, by default is using port 80. So on the configuration of System Center Configuration Manager, you also need to specify as port 80. If you change the ports number during the installation of WSUS, for example, if you configure as using ports 8500. On the System Center Configuration Manager, you need to specify to use 8500 ports. Alright. Once you have configured the ports, the next thing that you need to do is you need to configure the software update points, the synchronization updates. Okay, from here you need to specify how it's going to connect to Microsoft Update to get a Microsoft catalog and also the software updates. The option that is available is you can configure to have an upstream SUP, or you can also specify a manual synchronization schedules. After you have specified the update synchronizations updates, the next thing that you need to configure is the update clarifications. From here you can choose of different categories of update that you want to the System Center Configuration Manager to download. Okay, for example, you may want to have a critical updates, driver, security updates, update rollout, or critical patches or service specs, and so forth. Once you have specified the classifications, the next thing is you need to specify what are the updates products which you want the System Center Configuration Manager to download to the System Center Configuration Manager. After you have select the products which you want to have a software updates, the next setting that you need to configure is the languages. Alright, so basically for my environments, I'm going to choose the languages English, and I'm just need to deselect the other languages. Okay, I do not want to download all others languages into my System Center Configuration Manager for all the software updates. Okay, for example, if you are from Japan, alright, so most likely most of your client machines is running Japanese language, so all you need to do is you need to select Japanese as a language that you can use for the software updates. Alright, once you have finished configure the software updates points, the next thing that you need to do is you need to run the initial synchronizations. Alright, so basically you can configure to have a manual synchronizations or automatic synchronizations, but initially after you have finished configure the SUP, I recommend you to run the manual synchronizations. So once we get the system has already get all the updates from the Microsoft updates, the next thing that you need to do is you need to configure the updates for distributions. From here you can start to create the deployment templates, and then from there, after you have finished configure the templates, the next thing that you need to do is you need to create a package for the updates that you want to push to all the client machines. Once you have select the template and the packages which you want to deploy to the client machines, the next thing is you need to configure to deploy software updates, whereby you initiate a request to the System Center Configuration Manager to download the update and start to push the update to all your online virtual machines and also your physical host machines. So basically that's the explanation of System Center Configuration Manager, the steps that you need to take in order for deploy System Center Configuration Manager. The next thing that you need to do is to view the demos of how to configure some of the settings which I already explained in my previous slides. Please feel free to go to the video sections to view the demos of System Center Configuration Manager, especially on the software updates.